Presentation to schools and clubs from Cass and Friends. First of all, I thought I should start by telling you a little bit about my background. I used to run my own consultancy business and have always been a keen sportswoman, although I must admit that exercise all went on hold when I had two small children and a husband working away from home. As the children grew up, I laced up my running shoes again and became quite competitive, and 5 years ago dipped my toes into the world of duathlon. I was lucky enough to compete in Spain and Switzerland in 2016 at the European and World Duathlon Championships, and I'm still running, squeezing out personal bests at the age of 51 and still hope to run a sub 3-hour marathon. I do still love to compete, and I've got a very sporty son, so I'm well aware of the costs involved with elite level sport and the pressures that it can put on family life. So to tell you a little bit about the Cass and Friends story, our journey started in 2015 when we came to hear about a local triathlete, Cassarina Ferreira, whose parents were struggling to buy the extra equipment needed to support a sport doing 3 disciplines and involving a huge amount of kit. Those of you who cycle will know only too well that there are gains to be had from the lightest carbon bike with disc wheels, but that's just one end of the spectrum. The cost of entering a county or regional race and the associated travel costs and maybe the accommodation expenses may mean that some families just can't compete. So in 2015, myself and 2 friends and neighbours started a small fund to support Cass, and hence the name Cass and Friends. By 2017, we were supporting 4 athletes, and we became a charity called Cotswold Athlete Support Scheme. 3 years later, we're now supporting 17 athletes, national and regional level, from a diverse range of sports. These include runners, triathletes, cyclists, a boxer, a darts player, a fisherman, a trampolinist, an archer, a fencer, a rower, and two footballers. There are no other local charities doing what we do. The national charities that offer grants for sport give a one-off donation to individuals, send a cheque in the post, and the transaction is over. Cass and Friends is very different. We like to build strong and lasting relationships with the people that we're working with. We engage with the athlete and their parents and their coach. We watch them train and race where possible, and we send letters of good luck or cards for good luck and letters saying congratulations after competitions. By knowing the costs involved with each sport, we're able to identify the kit and expenses that we can help with, and the trustees agree what level of grant is required for each individual. The charity's involvement with the athletes is not simply a financial transaction. We also offer an 8-week sporting success mindset program. As our patron Eddie the Eagle said, his sport was 95% mental and 5% physical, and I'm sure that most top-level elite athletes would say exactly the same. The 8-week program is a 1 hour's commitment from each athlete for the 8-week duration, and it's another way we can support the athlete and their families. The program has had overwhelmingly positive feedback, not just from the athletes, but from their parents too. So as you can see, we didn't want our athletes to be disadvantaged because of their background, and we wanted to support them as best we could so that they were on a level playing field with fellow competitors from more affluent backgrounds. Our community of athletes, aged between 12 to 18, are a highly motivated and passionate group who share the same values and work ethic. Yes, they do all have talent, but what separates these kids from their friends at school is their consistently hard work and dedication to their training. Take one of our triathletes, for example. He gets himself up, he gets himself off to swim practice, comes home, wolf down his breakfast, goes and does his paper round, gets himself to school, comes back from school, maybe has a track session or a watt bike session, and then does his homework and goes to bed. So do you have any athletes who may fit our criteria? We're called Cotswold Athlete Support Scheme because we support athletes in Worcestershire and Gloucestershire only. Our athletes are aged between 12 and 18. They must be competing at the regional level or above, and they must come from a lower income family or be eligible for pupil premium to be able to qualify for our grant funding. If, however, you have athletes competing at the regional level or above, but they don't meet the other criteria, they may be eligible for the 8-week Sporting Success Mindset programme and just being part of the Cass and Friends community, which in our opinion are also wonderful opportunities for them. So please do consider them as well and get in touch. What we will offer your athletes is that if we can do enough fundraising, we aim to give grants of up to £1,000 for each athlete that we support each year. We invite them to do the 8-week Sporting Success Mindset programme, which has had super feedback and gives the athletes strategies to deal with setting goals, negative self-talk, pre-competition nerves, nutrition, sleep, guidance on confidence and race or competition preparation. And those are just naming a few of the strategies and the things we get involved with. The 8-week course helps them not only with their sport, but also dealing with everyday life as well. And finally, we know how important it is for our athletes to feel a sense of belonging and a sense of community. And our athletes are all really like-minded children, as I said before, working incredibly hard to achieve their goals and their sporting ambitions. This means that they may not be out and about socialising sometimes with some of their friends. And so they know that that would impact their training and their performance. So the fact they are part of a community of like-minded friends is another important aspect for them. Our patron is Eddie the Eagle, and he attends many of our fundraising events, as you can see in the photograph there. And he's such an inspirational character for our athletes to get to know. So what does Cass have to say? Well, Cass and I have been working on the 8-week Sporting Success Mindset programme and during lockdown, and last night was our final session. I was explaining to her that I'd been interviewed for a podcast and had that awful imposter syndrome because all the other interviewees were amazing sports people with hugely amazing sporting achievements to their name. But Cass was really kind and sweet, and she said, "Fiona, you're amazing to me. Without the support of Cass and Friends, I would have had to stop doing triathlon and I wouldn't be where I am today." So if she said to me that if she was having a low day or a down day in lockdown, her mum would often say to her, "Go and have a session with Fiona because you always feel much more motivated after you've been speaking with her." So Cass is grateful for our support, but I feel privileged that I met her and that she inspired Jonathan, Mike and I to set up the charity. I found my true vocation, and for that I am really grateful. So thank you so much for listening to that brief presentation, telling you a little bit more about Cass and Friends. We would absolutely love to hear from you, as I say, if you have some athletes that you think would be eligible, either for the funding side of things or for the 8-week Sporting Success programme. If you would like to find out more about us, we're at www.cassandfriends.org. You could also have a little look at Instagram if you like. That has got lots of lovely posts from all the athletes telling you what they've been up to during lockdown, their time trials, how they've continued racing, all sorts of things. So that's a really nice thing to have a little look at. And we do also have a YouTube channel where most of the athletes have been interviewed. So if you want to see that, that's also called Cass and Friends. So the Instagram and YouTube are Cass and Friends, and the website is www.cassandfriends.org. Thank you very much indeed for listening to the presentation.